back in 1961, lost that fight. Now Peter, his son, fights. Peter, we have you for just a moment before you go out into the ring. Your thoughts before you get in with Mike Tyson.
This is for my grandfathers, my grandmothers, my father, my mother, Curly, my 3 brothers, last but not least, Snubby.
Mr. McNeeley, what was it that you have told your son?
And last but not least, Midfield.
What is it that you've...
You guys were just watching Hurricane Peter McNeeley right before he was going out, 1995, to fight Mike Tyson. I want you all to meet the 7th-ranked, let me get this right, Hurricane Peter McNeeley, 7th-ranked world heavyweight contender and USBF champion in 1995. Peter McNeeley, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the stage. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great with the boss lady.
Everybody's doing great when they're with the boss lady. So I want to know about your story. I want to know about you. You told me you started your interest, your passion in boxing when you were very young.
I am a 3rd-generation professional heavyweight boxer. When I was a young boy, I was 7 years old. I crawled up in the attic, found my dad on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And at that moment, and the cover of Ring magazine, the Bible of boxing. And at that moment, I became infatuated with the sport of boxing.
Wow.
But I'd grown up in a small town called Midfield.
Midfield.
You know, where were you going to box? It was right picket fence America. So I was a wannabe and a historian. I read as much as I could, watch on TV. My dad had a ton of memorabilia upstairs in the attic, and I immersed myself in it. I was buying it off the shelves. And
How long had your father been fighting for?
my father fought his whole life because my grandfather was on the 1928 Olympic team.
1928 Olympic team.
When my grandfather turned pro, he fought on the opening night of Boston Garden,
Wow.
1928. Fun fact, Boston Garden, Madison Square Garden, Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto were built for what? Boxing, wrestling, and the circus.
Gotcha.
But so my grandfather had a brief career, and he taught boxing in Cambridge for 36 years. So obviously my dad and my uncles grew up learning how to box, now old enough to walk.
Pick it up, yeah.
And you know, but again, growing up in Midfield, it's not the same culture or lifestyle. And I mean, I knew my father was a boxer, but I didn't know to what degree until I did my own discovery. And I just became infatuated. And from that moment, my life's dream was, I knew my life's dream.
You're so passionate about that.
I wanted to feel like my dad.
You wanted to feel like your dad.
I wanted to be like my dad. And I'm proud. I'm proud that I was able to accomplish it.
Was that your dad standing next to you in the footage?
Hell yeah. We lost Dad 2 years ago this past October. You know, grateful I had him for 43 years. People in this world do not have enough gratitude for what they have in life, what they had in life.
That's very true. Now, you had told me that when you started boxing, you enjoyed it, and then you had to worry about school.
Well, no. What it really was, boss lady, it was my first year in college at Bridgewater State College. It was my first year in probably 10 years not playing a sport.
Okay.
I had nothing to recreate myself in my downtime or fun time.
Nothing to do.
And I, you know, partied too much and flunked out of college. And
as many college students do.
but you know, like I was a 17-year-old freshman in college. Everybody else was 18, 19, and 20.
So you were younger.
I was 17.
Yeah.
And so I started boxing that summer. Natick and Framingham are one town away from Midfield. So I started boxing over there, and then school started up in the fall. And my dad fought for the championship world. He knocked the champ down. He fought 3 world champions. Who's who the top 10 contenders. He sparred with the great Muhammad Ali twice
Yes.
in the gym.
You told me that.
The
You sparred
greatest.
with Muhammad
The
Ali. That's
greatest.
crazy.
You know, my dad was a real deal. When my dad fought Floyd Patterson at heavyweight championship, my dad knocked the champ down once. My dad got knocked down 12 times
Okay.
in 4 rounds. You know, my dad was all heart, and he kept trying. He kept trying. He was the real deal in an era where there were fights every night of the week. Boxing a little bit of a dying game today.
Yeah.
But the thing I try to get across to young people is, you know, I went to school full time for the next 4 years and boxed full time in Brockton, which is right next to Bridgewater. And every night I would drive into Brockton to a local gym there, and I would bang around with these vicious professional fighters and high-grade amateur fighters.
So you were going to school at Bridgewater
By day,
and boxing in Brockton by night. Wow.
I'd come home with a broken nose, and my head feels like a soccer ball. And, but you know what? It was the best thing for me. It got me through school. If boxing did nothing else for me, it helped get me my diploma.
Okay.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
You know, so what I'm trying to convey is, it doesn't matter if it's a sport or a hobby or a recreation or a vocation or a career choice. You can get your education and
do what you love.
have other avenues to help you, you know, look for something in your life that might help after school.
Yeah.
Which boxing did help me
Okay.
after school.
Now, when you were boxing after school in Brockton and going to school in the day, was it really difficult for you?
It sounds like it is now, but you know, like they say, youth is wasted on the young.
That's true.
You know, I was doing these things. I was running around doing my road work every morning around the campus. All the kids are going to class because you got to do your road work, and then driving into Brockton at night and boxing. But you know, that's what you got to do. And I just seemed to eat it up. And but I only had 21 amateur fights. Now, just to show you a little example, Mike Tyson had 150 amateur fights. Rick Bowen, 225 amateur fights.
Now, explain to me, what's an amateur fight?
It's before you turn pro.
Before you turn pro. Okay, you had 12 amateur
21.
fights. 21, sorry. 21 amateur
Right, but
fights.
these other guys are all having 100 or more. And the going saying is, anybody with 100 amateur fights or more is really what a pro fighting as an amateur, you know?
Okay, because they've been fighting for that long.
It was but so when I turned pro, it was good and it was bad. I was very inexperienced, but I was fresh. I hadn't been bagged around. You know? And but oh well, you know. But a great thing happened to me. At the beginning of my final year in college, I met a great boxing guru by the name of Vinny Vecchione.
Vinny Vecchione.
Yeah. And he had me come down to a gym in Whitman, sparring with, he only had one other fighter. He had been away from the game for 8 years, but he was basically a fight guy, like promoter, manager, trainer. He handled every facet of the game.
Okay.
He knew all the angles, and he taught me so much in a short amount of time that, you know, I said, you know what? After about 8, 9 months, I said, I'm going with this guy. Because I was a cowboy.
Yeah.
I was solo.
So he became like your manager.
He did become
He became your manager.
He re-taught me how to fight. He was also my trainer. He broke me down, re-taught me how to fight. We marched. We had to get to Mike Tyson, people don't really understand this. To get to Mike Tyson, we had 37 fights in 44 months. If you figure it out,
37 fights in 44
if you
months.
figure it out, it's a fight every 5 weeks for less than 4 years.
To get to Mike Tyson.
Old school.
Wow.
Old school. Vinny was an old school guy. But you know, again, I just seem to eat it up.
Yeah. We got a couple minutes before a PSA, and I wanted to ask you, we're going to go back to your father really quick. When you became pro, what was the advice that he might have given you?
Not might have, did.
Did give you.
Peter, you gotta do your own work. Peter, you can't be out drinking or drugging and partying. You gotta live clean. Those are the two things about around the game. And then as far as coaching with the game, he now became settled with the fact that Vinny was now holding the reins as trainer manager.
And that probably was tough for
It
him.
was. Because boxing has proved the father-son relationship rarely works. But it was funny. It made some funny instances. My father was we called him the big guy.
The big guy.
And he was. And he had this big booming voice. And Vinny Vecchione immediately picked up that when I was fighting, I would respond to my dad's voice. So Vinny would go like this in the corner during the fight. Tom, tell him to do this. Tom, tell him to do that.
So he was the microphone, huh?
Oh, it was hilarious. It goes on and on.
Yeah, but that's great advice even for the young people out there today, that if there's something you're passionate about, you need to do the road work. Do the road work, right?
Yeah. But, you know, and you can be going after your education while you're doing it. You know, you take your classes in the mornings and afternoons, and you could work like I did classes. I did part-time work, you know, at the college. I would sometimes work on the weekends, worked every summer break, you know, and the boxing. You know, I mean, I did it.
Yeah, and it can be done.
It can be
you
done.
can schedule school,
you're young
work,
and
hobby,
you're
and
young
passion.
And you're strong, and you can do it.
Yeah.
It can be done.
All right, we're going to cut to a brief PSA. You guys, we're at BossLady News. You guys are watching BossLady News. I'm on stage with Hurricane Peter McNeeley. I wouldn't dare. We'll be right back.
You can anytime, boss lady.